Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Main Event Insider, your #1 WWE hub. Don't forget to subscribe and let's dive in. Monday Night Raw delivered a moment that instantly altered the trajectory of WWE's main event scene. Bron Breakker stepped into the spotlight not to trade blows, but to challenge something far more powerful than a championship belt, a legacy. By the time he finished speaking, the WWE Universe wasn't just reacting, it was questioning long-held beliefs. Is CM Punk still the standard bearer of excellence, or has the wrestling world quietly moved on without him? This wasn't a loud, chaotic segment. It was controlled, deliberate, and heavy with implication. Every word mattered. Every pause carried weight. What unfolded wasn't just a promo. It was a statement about eras colliding. As WWE pushes deeper into 2025, this confrontation may be remembered as the night the balance of power truly shifted. Bron Breakker's arrival with intent. When Bron Breakker walked to the ring, his presence alone set the tone. There was no hesitation, no wasted movement, no theatrics meant to distract. He looked like a man who knew exactly what he was about to do. This wasn't rage spilling over. It was purpose. WWE has often portrayed Breakker as intensity personified, but this moment showed something more refined. His confidence wasn't loud. It was absolute. That distinction matters. Instead of chasing CM Punk's shadow, Breakker positioned himself as someone standing above it. The silence of the crowd between his words made the moment feel heavier, as if everyone understood they were witnessing a turning point. Breakker didn't come out to provoke a fight. He came out to redefine the conversation, and from the opening sentence, it was clear he succeeded. A promo. Built on precision, not noise. What separated this promo from countless others was its structure. Breakker didn't rely on insults for cheap reactions. He spoke with clarity, pacing his words like calculated strikes. Every line served a purpose. Rather than building toward a single punchline, he layered his message piece by piece. This approach gave the promo an almost unsettling calm. He wasn't trying to convince himself of his superiority. He spoke as if it were already accepted fact. That tone reframed the rivalry entirely. CM Punk wasn't positioned as an obstacle to overcome, but as a measuring stick already passed. WWE promos often thrive on emotion, but this one thrived on inevitability. Breakker didn't sound like someone hoping to make history. He sounded like someone reminding everyone that history had already changed. The championship as a symbol of control. When Breakker spoke about taking the title, he wasn't celebrating the accomplishment, he was contextualizing it. The championship wasn't described as a prize, but as proof. Proof that dominance doesn't require theatrics, and control doesn't require chaos. By framing the title this way, Breakker shifted its meaning. It became less about prestige and more about authority. He didn't elevate himself by holding it up. He diminished the idea that it ever truly belonged to anyone else. That subtle distinction matters in WWE storytelling. Champions who brag seek validation. Champions who explain seek recognition of fact. Breakker positioned himself firmly in the latter category. In doing so, he made the belt feel like an extension of his will rather than the source of his power, crossing the line into psychological warfare. The moment the promo turned personal, the atmosphere changed. Breakker didn't raise his voice or exaggerate his delivery. Instead, he leaned into discomfort. WWE history shows that the most effective rivalries aren't built on anger alone, but on intrusion. By pulling Punk's personal world into the conversation, Breakker made the feud impossible to compartmentalize. This wasn't about what happens between the ropes anymore. It was about identity, priorities, and vulnerability. The calculated nature of the comment made it more unsettling than any shouted insult could have. Breakker wasn't lashing out, he was dissecting. That choice elevated the rivalry into something more layered, forcing Punk to respond not just as a competitor, but as a man defending his legacy from erosion. Inevitability as a weapon. Perhaps the most chilling aspect of the promo was Breakker's sense of certainty. He didn't threaten unpredictability, he promised consistency. No matter the version of Punk that appeared, the result would not change. That kind of rhetoric removes hope, which is far more powerful than removing confidence. In wrestling storytelling, inevitability is often reserved for dominant champions at the height of their reign. Breakker adopting that tone signals WWE's faith in him as a cornerstone moving forward. He didn't frame January as a challenge, he framed it as a conclusion. That narrative positioning transforms the match from a contest into a test of survival for Punk's identity. It's no longer about winning, it's about proving the fight still matters. Raising the stakes beyond the ring. When Breakker closed with a warning about Punk's future, it wasn't framed as a physical threat, it was framed as consequence. The idea that January would change how the industry views Punk added a layer of finality. WWE thrives when matches feel like crossroads rather than checkpoints. This promo established exactly that. One path leads forward into a new era cemented by Breakker's dominance. The other leads into questions about where Punk stands if he falls. That kind of storytelling creates genuine intrigue because it affects perception, not just booking. Win or lose, something will change. By planting that seed, Breakker ensured this rivalry would carry weight regardless of outcome. What this means for CM Punk. For CM Punk, this promo demands a response that goes beyond defiance. Silence would imply acceptance. A standard rebuttal would feel insufficient. WWE has positioned Punk as someone whose words matter, whose voice shapes narratives. Now that voice must defend more than pride. It must defend relevance. Breakker didn't attack Punk's ability. He attacked his position in time. That's a harder challenge to answer. Punk's next move will reveal how WWE intends to frame him moving forward. Is he the veteran standing firm against erosion, or the icon fighting the realization that the landscape has changed? The answer will define not just this feud, but Punk's role in the company heading deeper into 2025. The broader implications for WWE's future. This promo wasn't isolated. It was reflective of WWE's broader shift toward generational storytelling. Breakker represents controlled intensity, discipline, and forward momentum. Punk represents history, rebellion, and earned respect. By putting these two philosophies head-to-head, WWE isn't choosing sides. It's asking the audience to consider what matters most in the modern era. This kind of storytelling works because it mirrors real-world conversations about legacy and progress. The result is emotional investment that goes beyond match outcomes. Whether Breakker wins or Punk defies expectations, WWE benefits by framing this rivalry as a defining chapter rather than a temporary feud. Why this moment will be remembered. Years from now, this promo may be referenced as the moment everything crystallized. Not because of shock value, but because of clarity. Bron Breakker didn't shout his arrival. He articulated it. In doing so, he forced the WWE Universe to reconsider assumptions it may not have questioned before. That's the mark of effective storytelling. It doesn't just entertain, it challenges perception. As January approaches, anticipation will continue to build, not because fans want chaos, but because they want answers. Answers about legacy, dominance, and whether the phrase "best in the world" still belongs to the past or can survive the future.